Welcome back to Just in Perspective. This is your host Mosh. I have world's biggest podcaster Joe Rogan. I'll be reacting to today. On this one, of course, not the full Rogan episode. That's over 2 hours. That's obviously way too long, but definitely a section with Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang. Okay, um, he's gonna get into it. We're in a technological arms race, the dangers of AI, how it's gonna impact our lives, all very important things that there is no escaping from. It is coming. It's part of our life, and we have to be ready, and we just have to be educated and understand how it's gonna impact all of us. So I'll be reacting to this. I'll try to keep it not too long because I know this podcast goes a couple hours long. So I'll do my best to keep it to a minimal. Here we go.
Technology growth and energy growth, there's a lot of people that go, oh no, that's not what we need. We need to, simplify our lives and get back. But the real issue is that we're in the middle of a giant technology race.
Yep.
And whether people are aware of it or not, whether they like it or not, it's happening. And it's a really important race because whoever gets to whatever the event horizon of artificial intelligence is, whoever gets there first has massive advantages in a huge way. Do you agree with that?
Well, first, the part, I will say that we are in a technology race.
Quick caveat: I'm playing this at 1.25x speed to get through it a little quicker. And Jensen is kind of known to like really think and speak slowly, which is good, but doesn't make for the fastest reaction. So just speeding it up the video just a bit for that. And that black jacket, I'm assuming it's a few $1,000s, but that jacket, he always wears it, and it just looks awesome.
And we are always in a technology race. We've been in a technology race with somebody forever. Right. Since the Industrial Revolution, we've been in a technology race.
Since the Manhattan Project.
Yeah. Or even going back to the discovery of energy, right? The United Kingdom was where the Industrial Revolution was, if you will, invented, when they realized that they can turn steam and such into energy, into electricity. All of that was invented largely in Europe. And the United States capitalized on it. We were the ones that learned from it. We industrialized it. We diffused it faster than anybody in Europe. They were all stuck in discussions about policy and jobs and disruptions. Taxes. Meanwhile, the United States was forming. We just took the technology and ran with it. And so I think we were always in a bit of a technology race. World War II was a technology race. Manhattan Project was a technology race. We've been in a technology race ever since, during the Cold War. I think we're still in a technology race. It is probably the single most important race. It is the technology it gives you superpowers, whether it's information superpowers or energy superpowers or military superpowers is all founded in technology. And so technology leadership is really important.
That's a nice overall answer. That's a nice historical context answer. Yes, of course, technology has always been there, and it's always been a technological challenge, a technological battle between higher powers, powers that be. So he's right. It's always been that way. But I can't wait to see how Joe grills him on actual AI and the dangers of that and how Nvidia has come into play. That's important.
Well, the problem is if somebody else has superior technology, right? That's the issue.
That's right.
It seems like with the AI race, people are very nervous about it. Like, Elon has famously said there was like 80% chance it's awesome. 20% chance we're in trouble. And people are worried about that 20%, rightly so. I mean, that, if you had 10 bullets in a
yeah, it's 20% chance the Earth could get annihilated by super intelligence, and we have a literal Terminator situation. Yeah, I think that's pretty damn important.
a revolver, and you took out 8 of them, and you still have 2 in there, and you spin it. You're not going to feel real comfortable when you pull that trigger. It's terrifying.
Right.
And when we're working towards this ultimate goal of AI, it's impossible to imagine that it wouldn't be of national security interest to get there first.
The question is what's there. That was the part.
What is there?
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I don't think anybody really knows.
That's crazy though. Well, if I ask you, you're the head of Nvidia. If you don't know what's there, who knows?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be much more gradual than we think. It won't be a moment. It won't be as if somebody arrived and nobody else has. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be things that just get better and better and better and better, just like technology does.
So you are rosy about the future. You're very optimistic about what's going to happen with AI. Obviously, will you make the best AI chips in the world? You probably better be.
If history is a guide, we were always concerned about new technology. Humanity has always been concerned about new technology. There are always somebody
True.
who's thinking. There are always a lot of people who are quite concerned. We're quite concerned. And
Yeah, I would have to say on a general basis throughout history, humanity has always been concerned or hesitant on any kind of new technology. You can go all the way back. The the easy example is like going from a horse carriage to uh, uh, combustion engine vehicle, right? The Henry Ford Model T, etc. So yeah, that was a big change, big shifts in technological revolution in the world and how people travel, right? And of course, Alexander Graham Bell, the phone communication, right? That comes into play, comes into mind. I mean, you used to have to mail with pigeons or with horse carriers for I don't know how long, maybe hundreds of years or more. And then suddenly this thing allows you to communicate across the world, in relatively quick time. So, yeah, history has always looked at technological revolution and or change with a little bit of hesitancy, and you don't just adapt something overall. I mean, overnight. You don't adapt overnight. Netflix, I should use that example. They started out with mailing, not emailing, mailing DVDs to people for temporary time, like renting and then mailing them back and continue going. Then they decided to like we need to think really future and make online streaming, direct to home video streaming a real thing, and that's brand new technology. And suddenly everyone had Netflix, and it's the newest thing. And here we are, and now they're able to purchase large conglomerates all on their own as a company, which is insane. So, and movie theaters, that's another thing that's trending downwards in terms of movie theater experience. But yeah, technology. I agree with Jensen that every new technology has always been a bit of hesitancy before adoption.
and so if history is a guide, it is the case that all of this concern is channeled into making the technology safer. And so, for example, in the last several years, I would say AI technology has increased probably in the last 2 years alone, maybe 100x. Let's just give it a number. Okay, it's like a car 2 years ago was 100 times slower. So AI is 100 times more capable today. Now, how did we channel that technology? How do we channel all of that power? We directed it to causing the AI to be able to think, meaning that it can take a problem that we give it, break it down step by step. It does research before it answers, and so it grounds it on truth. It'll reflect on that answer, ask itself, is this the best answer that I can give you?
Nice.
Am I certain about this answer? If it's not certain about the answer or highly confident about the answer, you'll go back and do more research. It might actually even use a tool because that tool provides a better solution than it could hallucinate itself. As a result, we took all of that computing capability and we channeled it into having it produce a safer result, safer answer, a more truthful answer. Because as you know, one of the greatest criticisms of AI in the beginning was that it hallucinated.
Right.
And so if you look at the reason why people use AI so much today, is because the amount of hallucination has reduced. I use it I used it the whole trip over here. And so I think the capability, most people think about power and they think about, maybe as an explosion power, but the technology power, most of it is channeled towards safety. A car today is more powerful, but it's safer to drive. A lot of that power goes towards better handling. I'd rather have you have a 1,000 horsepower truck. I think 500 horsepower is pretty good. No, 1,000 better. I think 1,000 is better.
I don't know if it's better, but it's definitely faster.
Yeah, no, I think it's better. You can get out of.
I can't imagine 1,000 horsepower in a truck. I've never driven a Cybertruck, but holy shit. I've never driven anything that fast, that much power ever. And I don't know if I will, to be honest. But yeah, that changes the game when trucks can go 1,000 HP. Whew.
Trouble faster. I enjoyed my 599 more than my 612. I think it was better, and more horsepower is better. My 459 is better than my 430. More horsepower is better. I think more horsepower is better. I think it's better handling, it's better control. And
yeah, a rich billionaire talking about the difference between supercars and which one he likes more, Ferraris or Lamborghinis and which model and how much horsepower. Yeah, this is a unique situation that they have insight into that most will not. But I honestly, on a more horsepower, it usually is better, but in some cases it is not. It's definitely subjective, I would say, a case by case basis. But just because you have more power or whatever horsepower, it doesn't mean it's necessarily uh, good utility for everyday life or everyday need or whatever it is. That, I mean, it is more case by case, but I see what he's coming from.
In the case of technology, it's also very similar in that way. And so if you look at what we're going to do with the next 1,000 times of performance in AI, a lot of it is going to be channeled towards more reflection, more research, thinking about the answer more deeply.
So when you're defining safety, you're defining it as accuracy.
Functionality.
Functionality.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does what you expect it to do. And then you take all the technology and horsepower, you put guardrails on it, just like our cars. We've got a lot of technology in a car today. A lot of it goes towards, for example, ABS. ABS is great.
Yeah.
And so traction control, that's fantastic. Without a computer in the car, how would you do any of that?
Right.
And that little computer, the computers that you have doing your traction control, is more powerful than the computer that went to Apollo 11.
Yes, the quote unquote moon mission. Right. Let's not get into that rabbit hole real quick. The car is a great example. It's a great example because now I think most people have push start to start their engines. We don't even have to turn a key anymore in the key area for turning on an engine, igniting an engine anymore. I believe most the newer models, right? I think 2015s and up, like in the 2010s they started doing that, and then they just continued so on. And now, honestly, if you have a Tesla, which I don't, but I have family and friends who have Teslas now, I don't think you need to turn anything on. It's just on as soon as you enter and you have your device or whatever, and it's connected to your account or whatever it is. So, yeah, everything has changed. Technology has evolved, and it's supposed to increase your safety. It's supposed to enhance your experience. It's supposed to make driving smoother. It should be greater output, less input, whatever. So, and I'll be honest, growing up, when I first saw people with push start cars, you just push the button and it starts the engine, and it could be in basic Toyotas or Nissans or Hondas. Honestly, it's not even a fancy ones, not even a expensive like a Lexus or something, but basic cars like that. And I had a old fashioned, highly reliable Toyota Corolla 2008. Thank goodness for that. That thing lasted a long time and super reliable. But just your basic key in the ignition, turn it on, and drive. I remember I just couldn't wait to get a push start car, like finally, because I just been driving it so long, that same old thing, and now that's just nothing. Now you just open your car, like you have a lock on there, and you have your phone device, and you just enter, and it just automatically on, and you just go. It's a whole new thing, and Teslas are a whole new driving experience. It really is. It's not. It is a hell of an adjustment for a typical combustion car driver, I'll be honest. So yeah, it's a completely new driving experience, and if that's the analogy with AI versus regular computing, that's a pretty good analogy. Yeah.
And so you want that technology, channel it towards safety, channel it towards functionality. And so when people talk about power, the advancement of technology, oftentimes I feel what they're thinking and what we're actually doing is very different.
Well, what do you think they're thinking?
Well, they're thinking somehow that this AI is being powerful, and their mind probably goes towards a sci-fi movie.
Yep.
The definition of power. Oftentimes the definition of power is military power or physical power. But in the case of technology power, when we translate all of those operations, it's towards more refined thinking, more reflection, more planning, more options.
I think the big fears that people have is, one, a big fear is military application.
I hope that we're not lagging too much here. Internet should be good.
What we're actually doing is very different.
Well, what do you think they're thinking?
Well, they're thinking somehow that this AI, the definition of power, oftentimes the definition of power is military power or physical power. But in the case of technology power, when we translate all more planning, more options.
I think the big fears that people have is one, a big fear is military applications.
Yep.
That's a big fear.
Yeah.
Because people are very concerned that you're going to have AI systems that make decisions that maybe an ethical person wouldn't make or a moral person wouldn't make based on achieving an objective versus based on, how it's going to look to people.
Well, I'm happy that our military is going to use AI technology for defense, and I think that Anduril building military technology. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to see all these tech startups now channeling their technology capabilities towards defense and military applications. I think you need to do that.
Yeah, we had Palmer Luckey on the podcast, and he was demonstrating some of the
Yeah, it's
stuff with his
incredible.
helmet on. And he showed some videos how you could see behind walls and stuff. Like, it's nuts.
He's actually the perfect guy to go start that company.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's like he's born for that. Yeah. He came in here with a copper jacket on. He's a freak. It's awesome. He's awesome. But it's also, an unusual intellect channeled into that very bizarre field is what you need.
And I think I'm happy that we're making it more socially acceptable.
Damn it. Yeah. I like Jensen. And I gotta say, Rogan, it's amazing. It's hard to believe that this man started off like the Fear Factor guy and MMA and comedy, stand-up comedy, and now he's the world's biggest podcaster. And he 2,400 plus episodes, and it is absolutely mind-boggling. He pretty much invented podcasting, to be honest, or maybe not invented podcasting, but he took it over by storm and became the biggest one. And I used to tune in on car drives, and I think the first Elon episode ever in 2018-ish, I had to listen to that one, and Elon even smoked like THC laced cigar, and the stock dropped for a bit. That caused a lot of uproar, and then it went back up like 2 days later. But Rogan's impact on the podcasting and the overall media cannot be understated.
There was a time when somebody wanted to channel their technology capability and their intellect into defense technology, somehow they're vilified. But we need people like that. We need people who enjoy that part of application of technology.
Well, people are terrified of war, so it makes sense.
The best way to avoid it has excessive military might.
Do you think that's absolutely the best way?
The old-fashioned carry a stick and you don't need to. What was it saying? Well, there's the one with the warrior. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in war. Yes. And then I think Teddy Roosevelt said something about carry a bigger stick, But yeah, we're going to go back to historical speaking of the mutually assured destruction, which is exactly what nuclear power has given the world and all the major countries. And so that's why there hasn't been a wide-scale war in a long time, and knock on wood, pray there isn't one again. But I see what he's saying. Like, if you want to, in fact, that reminds me of there's I think a Latin saying, "Si vis pacem para bellum," which is from a John Wick movie. If you want peace, prepare for war. It's kind of crazy.
Not diplomacy, not working stuff out.
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
You have to have military might in order to get people to sit down with you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. All of it.
Otherwise, they just invade.
That's right. Why ask for permission?
Again, like you said, history. Go back and look at history.
That's right.
When you look at the future of AI, and you just said that no one really knows what's happening.
Right.
Do you ever sit down and ponder scenarios? Like, what do you think is like best case scenario for AI over the next 2 decades?
The best case scenario is that AI diffuses into everything that we do, and everything's more efficient, but the threat of war remains a threat of war. Cybersecurity remains a super difficult challenge. Somebody is going to try to breach your security. You're going to have thousands of millions of AI agents protecting you from that threat. Your technology is going to get better. Their technology is going to get better, just like cybersecurity. Right now, while we speak, we're seeing cyber attacks all over the planet on just about every front door you can imagine.
Of course.
And yet, you and I are sitting here talking. And so the reason for that is because we know that there's a whole bunch of cybersecurity technology in defense. And so we just have to keep amping that up, keep stepping that up.
This episode is brought to you by
Nice, good place for a ad. Escalation. That reminds me of what they said in The Dark Knight. Escalation, when they had to face crime in Gotham, and as soon as Batman appears, automatically that changes the game because he's wearing a mask and jumping off rooftops, and so Commissioner Gordon said, "What about escalation? When we use automatics, we use semi-automatics. They use automatics. We buy Kevlar piercing rounds, whatever, or we wear armor. They wear Kevlar piercing rounds, and here comes Batman." So that's what he's talking about: constant escalation in this case with technology and AI here. So I don't know. Jensen's kind of dancing around this a bit. He's not direct. I know this guy is CEO of Nvidia, and one of the largest tech companies right now, especially largest evaluation, and in getting to in the $1 trillion, which is absolutely insane. And they're producing I think their microchips are responsible for vast majority of like computers and especially AI. So he if there's any expert in the world, it's him at least. But he can't answer like just directly. He has to dance around. He has to provide all this context and whatever and conjecture. But yeah, it's a very complex thing. But he just I guess he doesn't see it as doom and gloom thing. So as long as it's not like he knows if he just says out loud, yeah, it's gonna take over and we're in trouble, that's gonna cause global panic, and it's gonna screw over his company as well and every major company. But I think they're also hesitant to just flat out say it's gonna 100% make life better for every single human. They're not saying that either, so which is smart because now you're setting a really, really, really high bar and standard, and you don't want to just mess up with people's, like completely ruin their perception and their hope there. So there he's on purpose being a little bit murky with the answer, a little bit, not too much, but definitely a little bit.
And it's going to be obsolete. Encryption is it's no longer going to protect data. It's no longer going to protect systems. Do you anticipate that ever being an issue, or do you think it's as the defense grows, the threat grows, then defense grows, and it just keeps going on and on and on, and they'll always be able to fight off any sort of intrusions?
Not forever. Some intrusion will get in, and then we'll all learn from it. And the reason why cybersecurity works is because, of course, the technology of defense is advancing very quickly. The technology of offense is advancing very quickly. However, the benefit of the cybersecurity defense is that socially, the community, all of our companies work together as one. Most people don't realize this. There's a whole community of cybersecurity experts. We exchange ideas, we exchange best practices, we exchange what we detect. The moment something has been breached, or maybe there's a loophole or whatever it is shared by everybody. The patches are shared with everybody.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm not in cybersecurity myself per se. I do work with people in working in tech as an analyst, but without cybersecurity and in place for a lot of all these companies, basically, they would be in very big trouble from cyber attacks, which is by far everything has gone cyber now, right? It's all cyber, it's all digital. So it's not like the same as like people breaking in bank robberies, like heists like that we used to watch. It's all like cyber based now. So yeah, cybersecurity better be very strong for any kind of company, even like a damn fast food company online website. Even they're subject to cyber attacks. Well, I mean, there's still thousands of millions of people's data, passwords, accounts, addresses, all that. So that's all available. That's all there for potential grabs, if not for cybersecurity. And don't get me started on the dark web. I don't hardly know anything, but yeah, cybersecurity very important. And thank God there's some companies like Capital One who take that very seriously and send reports on like potential cyber problems or whatever.
Oh, most people don't realize this.
No, I had no idea. I've assumed that it would just be competitive like everything else. They would keep
we
secrets.
work together, all of us. Yeah.
Has that always been the case?
It surely has been the case for about 15 years. It might not have been the case long ago, but this.
What do you think started off that cooperation?
people recognizing it's a challenge and no company can stand alone. And the same thing is going to happen with AI. I think we all have to decide.
There we go.
Working together to stay out of harm's way is our best chance for defense. Then it's basically everybody against the threat.
And it also seems like you'd be way better at detecting where these threats are coming from and neutralizing them, too.
Exactly, because the moment you detect it somewhere,
Right.
you're going to find out right away.
It'll be really hard to hide.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's the reason why it's safe. That's why I'm sitting here right now instead of, locking everything down at NVIDIA.
All right, guys, you can be assured. Jensen, Nvidia CEO, says we're good because all companies are going to work together to, as a team, to provide defense in case there's any potential lingering attacks or problems with AI. But yeah, that is a good concept, and I hope it works. I pray it works. I mean, I don't want to be too negative, or I don't want to think that I don't want to be just skeptical and cynical of everything, and think that there's potential bad actors out there who actually want to see demise of most, if not all, the world. I pray that's not the case, but that is what sci-fi has led us to believe. Superintelligence taking over, and humanity is cooked. But to be honest, it's neither you, the viewer, or my responsibility on the overall path of humanity as a whole. It's not, right. We live our life. We focused on our goals and our families, our day-to-day, right? So yeah, whatever happens, that will be interesting. I think we could probably end it here. But this is a long video. It's a great podcast. It's over 2.5 hours long, and actually, it's exactly 2.5 hours, 2:28, and just short of 2.5. And 24:22 with Jensen. Let me see.
It's not only am I watching my own back, I've got everybody watching my back, and I'm watching everybody else's back.
It's a bizarre.
Nice. So, in other words, cooperation and collaboration between all major conglomerates is what's going to protect humanity from the dangers of potential rogue or AI threats of any kind. So, that's good because, hey, man, every superhero movie and shit, what is it? It's the threat humanity can't handle. You have to call in the Avengers. You have to call in the Justice League, okay? The one team of super forced, super powered individuals that can handle the threat at hand, and humanity cannot. So they have to work together to collectively overcome said threat, right? Avengers, the Justice League, even with the all powerful Superman. So yeah, I agree. If they work together actually in the genuine interest of all of humanity, which, by the way, you can't be, if your interest of corporation is to continue growing, you need a humanity, you need a population there, right? So you can't just green light the demise of population based on advanced tech. You know what I'm saying? So I would hope they work together and come to the aid and the defense of cyber attacks of all of humanity, but especially the biggest players, and that's kind of the only resilience, and that's kind of the only what do you call it? The line of defense, and that we have. So anyway, so we can end it here. It's a long podcast. It's Joe Rogan Experience, everyone knows. Jensen, the guest, number 2422. I'll link it here. But like they said, Joe said in the beginning, we all know AI is here. It's just the next technological revolution. Historically speaking, humanity's always advanced and had to advance, obviously, and for humanity's purposes. And it's always adapted to every new advancement. Okay, and they have to. And so this is no different. It's just the next biggest thing. It could be the biggest potential, most revolutionary thing ever in humanity speaking, but we shall see. With that signing off, this is Mosh. If you like this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe for more. And with that, remember, it's just a little bit of perspective.